They are passing the hat for more money. That may include passing that funny-looking cigarette. One state may make marijuana legal. California is set to put the Tax Cannabis Act on the ballot in November. It says it would allow adults to buy up to an ounce of marijuana and grow smaller amounts. Activists finally getting the traction they need because the state is just flat out broke and looking to raise money. The stoner tax, they say, could bring in more than $1 billion a year. Aaron Houston's Director of Government Relations for the Marijuana Policy Project, and Oklahoma Republican Ernest Istook is former chairman of the Subcommittee for National Drug Control Policy. Gentlemen, to both of you, Aaron, I'll start. Why is this a good idea?
It's a good idea, Bill, because the cartels right now, the Mexican drug cartels wreaking such havoc in our society, get 70% of their profits from marijuana sales alone. Let me say that again. 70% of the cartel's profits come from marijuana sales alone. And Congressman Istook will try to paint the face of marijuana prohibition as a Cheech and Chong stoner movie type thing. In fact, the face of prohibition modern day is the cartels selling a guy's face onto a soccer ball and rolling it onto a playground. That's the kind of horror that we're talking about, and that's the kind of horrific act that our marijuana
does. Let me just get the point in here. You're saying it raises money for the state and also cuts down on crime?
Yes, it certainly cuts down on crime. If we were to simply allow the states to regulate it like alcohol, California is moving closer to that, taking a step towards it. We would cut out 70% of the cartel's profits right now. And again,
let me go to the congressman on all this. Give you a chance to talk. Mr. Istook, what do you think about those claims?
Does anybody really think that the social costs of legalized alcohol or legalized tobacco are actually less than the revenue that we bring in? Just legalizing another way for people to get high doesn't improve anything. Part of the problem is that we've had efforts to try to describe marijuana as medicine, which the Drug Enforcement Agency will tell you is certainly not the case. But here, because people keep trying to misdescribe it as medicine, we've had an increase in teenage use of marijuana in 19% in the last year, according to the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Why? Because people are sending mixed messages. Even the President of the United States will not enforce our laws on marijuana, which can lead to unenforcement of other laws as well. So to try to say, look, let's make money by legalizing things, then why not extend the same rationale to all the hard drugs? Why not extend the same rationale to prostitution? Wide open gambling, every place. That's a bad argument to say you can make money through that.
Let me bring Aaron back here. Let me just ask you a question. Where do you get this figure that you could raise $1.4 billion if you legalize it in California alone?
Well, that's directly from the Office of the State Comptroller, I believe. So it's an official estimate. By the way, the estimate about 70% of the cartel's profits coming, that is also an official estimate. And by the way, Congressman Istook did not address the core of my point. First of all, alcohol and tobacco are much, much more dangerous drugs than marijuana is. Alcohol is vastly more harmful. You can die from alcohol. Nobody's ever died from marijuana. Second, Congressman Istook is talking about medical marijuana. He's not addressing the core of my point. The core of my point is that we're giving our money to really bad people, Congressman. And I'd be curious to know what you say about states' rights. You seem to be in favor of states' rights for other things. What about
the U.S. Supreme Court has determined that issue?
For governor, are currently against it. It could be on the ballot, Mr. Istook.
Let me answer the questions that he's bringing up. I can. Sure. Well, first of all, the U.S. Supreme Court has already determined that the federal law trumps any state law in this area. That's already been decided several years ago by the U.S. Supreme Court. It is not a states' rights issue. It is a public policy issue that is properly handled for uniformity purposes at the federal level. And to claim that I want to count the revenue, but I don't want to count the expenses. Talk to law enforcement officers, which are organizing right now against the California initiative, because they know that you don't improve the things. If you've got a problem with one drug, you don't fix it by legalizing more drugs and expanding the ways that people can become drunk or stoned.
Gentlemen, thanks.
It sounds like you're against states' rights, Congressman.
Ernest Istook, thank you. We'll continue this debate.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of breaking news today. Don't mean to cut you short, but we'll get back to it. Thank you, gentlemen.